Well, hello, welcome back. Welcome to unit number 2 for the Interpretive Exhibit Planner's Toolbox. This is where we get you started in thinking about what it is you want the exhibition to actually accomplish, and those are the objectives. There's a couple ways we do objectives. The first ones are for the entire exhibition. So if you're doing an exhibit room, an exhibit gallery, exhibits for an interpretive center, what we usually do first, if it's possible, is have a focus workshop with all the people involved, the clients, for that process. And in a focus workshop, it's pretty simple. We get everybody together in the room. We give them first an overview of the whole exhibit planning process. And then we tell them, okay, you're going to spend $80,000 or $20,000 on exhibits. So, by gosh, if nothing else, when people come in and they look at all the exhibits and they read all the labels and they take it all in, by gosh, if nothing else, I want the majority of people to remember that. And so what is the answer to remember that? So we have each person go around the room, have them think about it first for a while. Then they tell us, well, gee, if nothing else, I'd like the majority of people to understand the mission of our organization. If nothing else, I'd like the majority of people to understand why preserving historic homes has value. So we go around the room and each person gives us what it is they want the exhibition to accomplish. Bottom line. Not the itty-bitty details, just the big picture stuff. And so we go around the room as many times as we have to, and we end up with a list of objectives. Now, the objectives then, what we'll do with those is we'll create an interpretive exhibit storyline flowchart, because each of the objectives, surprisingly, gets turned into an exhibit or a part of an exhibit. So that's one of the magical things of having objectives. So if we have an objective, the majority of people understand the mission of our organization, then we have to have an exhibit that interprets and illustrates the mission of the organization. Now, we don't know what it's going to actually look like yet. We just know what it has to do. And so we may end up with 15, 20, 25 different objectives. From the objectives, we develop and find one interpretive theme, one sentence that illustrates what all the objectives and all the main points of this interpretive center are about. So one theme for the whole exhibition might be, like one we did for the Corps of Engineers, the work of the Corps of Engineers benefits you, your community, and the nation in 5 remarkable ways. So that's the theme. That means every exhibit has to illustrate how the Corps of Engineers projects and work that they do benefits people individually, benefits your community, and benefits the nation. And we have to illustrate at least 5 ways. So that tells us what the exhibits have to do. Now, that's when we sit down with the designers to figure out how all that's going to look, and we do the research and all the things that are components of it. But we know that those are some of the things that the exhibits have to illustrate. From the exhibit flowchart, we also create sub-themes. And what I've sent you in the Great Bridge Interpretive Plan is part of the Interpretive Exhibit Plan for proposed new visitor center. So it has the objectives, it has an exhibit storyline walkthrough, and then we also have the objectives for each individual exhibit. So not only do we have objectives for the entire visitor center, but then each exhibit, each individual exhibit has an interpretive planning form. And the interpretive planning form tells us the theme for that exhibit, the main concept that it is going to illustrate, and the learning, behavioral, and emotional objectives that that exhibit is being charged to accomplish. And then we might put down some exhibit ideas, like maybe it's a flip door, or maybe it's going to be an audio or an AV component. But every exhibit, each individual exhibit gets an individual planning form that has its objectives. So that's what we're going to work on for Unit 2. For you is to develop the objectives for the entire exhibition, the interpretive theme and interpretive storyline flow, for the whole exhibition. And then in the following unit, we'll work on the individual storyline interpretive exhibit planning forms. So remember, exhibits are measurable. So we start with, upon completion of visiting the visitor center, the majority of people can describe 5 ways that the Corps of Engineers makes their community stronger. Exhibits are measurable. We can pre-test to see how much people already know about how the Corps of Engineers makes their community stronger. And then we can actually do mock-ups of the exhibit and have people see it and see if there's a change in attitude, a change in knowledge, a change in perception about how the Army Corps of Engineers benefits their community. And that's how we'll work on pre- and post-testing towards the end of this course. So Unit 2 is objectives. And again, if you have any questions, give me a call. But that's what you're going to be writing, are the learning, behavioral, and emotional objectives that your exhibition is going to be designed to accomplish. Have fun with that.